J.C. Newman, the oldest family-owned cigar maker in America. And every year they remind you why. But what they continue to do, continue to push out, is absolutely remarkable. Eat, Drink, Smoke. Tony Katz, Fingers Malloy, of course. It is J.C. Newman, and Drew Newman joins me right now. You can find out everything at jcnewman.com. It is, without a doubt, known that cigars are a family business, and things do get passed down, and there are big family connections here. But for generations, from the Brick House to El Reloj and everything you've got going in Tampa Bay and all around the world, how difficult has it been to be the fourth generation leader of a name so big?
Well, thank you so much, Tony. I will say it's a privilege. It is a privilege to be able to continue our family's 128-year-old, four-generation family business, and to be the ambassadors not only for our family, but for the cigar city of Tampa through El Reloj, which has now become the last traditional cigar factory still operating in the United States.
So when I pronounce it El Reloj, I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Well, I think you can pronounce it different ways. We pronounce it El Reloj, which means clock or watch in Spanish, which is the nickname of our historic cigar factory, and it's because of its iconic clock tower that really kept the time in the Ybor City Historic Cigar District a century ago, before everyone had wrist watches and smartphones.
Well, if it's pronounced El Reloj, I will pronounce it El Reloj. The Diamond Crown, the Maximus, the Julius Caesar, the Black Diamond, and of course Brick House and Perla Del Mar and El Baton and the Angel Cuesta is another one that you do. We actually reviewed that on the show a few months ago, and I know that there's a new round of it that has come out. Is this a little bit different? Do you feel that there's something about what you've done now with the Angel Cuesta, which was the cigar for the King of Spain? Is there something better to this go around than maybe the last one? Something different?
Well, Angel Cuesta, you're right, as you mentioned, was the cigar of King Alphonse XIII of Spain 100 years ago. We brought it back last year. We re-released it as a handmade cigar here in our El Reloj Historic Cigar Factory in Tampa, and it's a beautiful cigar. It's got a pigtail cap and an unfinished foot, and it's full of flavor with a beautiful, gorgeous Havana seed wrapper on it, and it's full of flavor, and it's a cigar made for a king, and you should feel like royalty when you light it up.
The feel of a cigar. Never mind, people they like different vitolas for how it feels in the hand and mouthfeel. I don't like to go above a 56 in a ring gauge. It doesn't work for me, but I'm also extremely comfortable with a Lancero, and some people find that too dainty. They're not fond of that. In your working this, in the family's working this, have you found that some things are indeed more popular or smoke better, some sizes than others?
Well, I will say the most popular sizes today are, without a doubt, Toros and Robustos. And when we create new cigars now, we'll always blend and test them in the Toro shape. It's just a good standard to compare it to. But that's changed over time, Tony. As you know, cigars a century ago were almost all Perfectos, and they were short and thin. They were 4 or 5 inches long at most, and 30 to 40 ring gauge. And so cigars over time, in our experience, have gotten so much larger and also are now much more flavorful. And it's something that we can actually see here in El Reloj, because we have an incredible cigar vault in our basement that has thousands of cigars dating back in our collection from 1906, and then we also have the oldest cigars in the world down there from 1857. So you can visually see the evolution of the cigar industry over the past 100-plus years.
When you look at your cigars, right, and you see things that are made in Nicaragua, that things you do with the Arturo Fuente family and other places, you have a particular focus on American-made cigars. Now, the American is something that's in my humidor. It's a cigar that when new stations join, we try and send a gift, and it's one of the cigars that I usually send and say, welcome to the Eat, Drink, Smoke family. Is there something, is it a pride factor in saying this is an all-American tobacco, all-American cigar, or was it just an opportunity and that you have found to be enjoyable?
Well, I think, Tony, what sets our family apart from the rest of the cigar industry is that we're not only pretty much the oldest as a 128-year-old family business, but we're an American company. We were founded in the United States. We make cigars overseas, but we also have the last factory still rolling cigars in the United States. And so we're very proud of the American cigar tradition, which dates back to 1612 when the first commercial tobacco crop was planted in the Virginia colony. And so in our view, there's wonderful cigars that are handcrafted all around the world, and we all should appreciate them, and we do. We just don't want to forget the fact that there's a historic American cigar tradition as well, and it's something that we as this four-generation American family business are really in the best position to highlight and keep alive and share with future generations.
Talking to Drew Newman of J.C. Newman Cigars, J.C. Newman, Newman, jcnewman.com. The family aspect, which is much more than just about specifically the Newman family. And you see this with a fair amount of cigar manufacturers and how they treat the people they work with, the rollers, the people who are engaged in the blending. For you guys, there's a park now. You basically opened a park. A cigar, is it called Cigar Workers Park? Is that the official name of it?
That's it. 4 years ago, in celebration of our company's 125th anniversary, we decided to restore El Reloj and turn it into the destination for cigar tourism. And we went from having 0 visitors 4 years ago to 15,000 visitors just last year for tours or to see our cigar museum or attend an event or a cigar rolling class. It's just amazing how many people want to come into our factory, just like people go to wineries or breweries and distilleries. But one piece of feedback that people have given us is that they come and spend a few hours here and learn about cigars and our family in Ybor City, and they say, what's next? We want more. What else can we do? And so we wanted to expand beyond El Reloj, our historic factory, and reinvigorate our corner of the Ybor City Historic District. And so our next project, our new project, is just what we finished this week, which was Cigar Workers Park, a beautiful oasis across the street from El Reloj, where you can go enjoy a fine cigar and relax. And it's a beautiful park that we wanted to dedicate to the hundreds of thousands of people who've worked in Tampa's historic cigar industry since 1886. Tony, you and I get to enjoy amazing cigars, but very rarely do we get to thank the people who work so hard to make these incredible cigars that we all get to enjoy. And it's tough. It's hard work. And so we wanted to do something to recognize and show our appreciation and thanks to these incredible cigar workers for creating world-class cigars.
Let's talk a little bit about business. One of the things that we focus on at Eat, Drink, Smoke is the concept of trends. What's happening? What's been selling? Of course, COVID meant a tremendous amount of cigars being sold. You have explained to us before that there are these cycles, quarter century kind of cycles, right, that take place where we see an incredible boom in cigars. But we have economic realities that we also discuss. You know, things being discussed in the cigar lounge, we discuss here on Eat, Drink, Smoke. And there are economic concerns all over the place, and there have been 2023 business owners talk to me about this for 2024. What are you seeing as the possible trends for this year? Are there still supply issues? Is it a pricing concern? Does it mean not maybe unveiling as many either brands or vitolas of certain cigars? How do you view it?
So I think you're right, Tony. In our 128 years in business, we've seen almost like clockwork a boom period every 25 years. and the most recent one occurring during the pandemic when people had more time on their hands, and many people chose to drink more drinks and smoke more cigars, and so consumption increased, demand for cigars increased, and because our industry is one where we handcraft a product made with aged tobacco leaves, you just can't make more cigars quickly. And so for a couple of years, their demand far exceeded supply. What we saw last year, though, is supply catching up to demand. And I think where the industry is right now is at a plateau. The interest in cigars that really picked up during the pandemic has remained. There are a lot of people, a lot of adults who are now enjoying cigars more frequently, but there's now the market has caught up. So when you walk into a typical retailer's humidor, it should be fully stocked. There are cigars right now. What worries me most right now is some of the instability that we're seeing particularly in tobacco growing markets. I'm thinking right now of Ecuador, which is a major producer, particularly of wrapper tobacco, of Ecuador Havana tobaccos, Ecuador Connecticut tobaccos, and the instability there, the very bad crop, shade crop that they had there last year is going to have an effect on us and all the other large cigar companies too. And so we're always worried about that. And it's something just that we'll have to continue monitoring and working on going forward.
Before I let you go, Drew Newman of JC Newman Cigars, jcnewman.com. In growing a business and growing a brand, you're still always working on it. There's a reason Coke still advertises. You see people get into the lounge side of things. Rocky Patel did it with Burn. Davidoff attaches itself in places. For me, it's Blend Bar Cigar in Indianapolis, Indiana, where we record the show. Is JC Newman ever getting into the lounge business?
Well, we were the first, Tony. Starting in 2006, I believe, we started opening up Diamond Crown cigar lounges around the country, and we have, I think, 37 right now. And so these are partnerships with premier retailers throughout the United States, where we work with them and name their lounge and outfit it and make it a comfortable space. What we saw beginning in the late 90s and early 2000s was just an increase in smoking bans. That was the era where smoking was banned indoors from restaurants and then bars. It became hard to find a place to light up and enjoy a cigar. And so beginning then, almost 20 years ago, we started to partner with some of our key retailers to help make sure that there were places where people could go and relax and enjoy a cigar. And so we're very proud to be a pioneer in the branded lounge part of our business, because it's a way for us to help ensure that there's a place for people to enjoy cigars no matter who makes them.
Drew Newman, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. Like to catch up with you a little more often. Hopefully we'll see you in Vegas for the PCA show. jcnewman.com. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much, Tony.